You chose absolutely right tuning in to Rwanda Television News tonight. A very good evening to you from wherever you are joining us from, and many thanks for joining us on RTV tonight. And welcome to today's edition. These are the headlines. The report of the Auditor General indicated that last year's funds among government institutions were better managed. Since 2017, Rwanda's exports from flowers, vegetables and fruits boosted to 1,000 tons per month, up from 40 tons. Good evening to you once again, and we are very glad to have your company tonight. As we studied off, the report of the Auditor General indicate that last year's funds among government institutions were better managed, with figures indicating a rise in clean bills of health from 68% in 2022 to as much as 92% in 2023. Presenting his report to both chambers of the Parliament on Wednesday, the Auditor General told the parliamentarians that 208 books of accounting were audited in 191 institutions. 92% of the institutions got clean bills of health. 5% had books that could be tolerated, while 3% got bad scores. 96% of the public funds used by the institutions were audited, equivalent to 4.98 trillion Rwandan francs, while the number of parastatals audited also increased from 17 to 21. Out of 3,556 recommendations made by the Office of the Auditor General, 59% were fully implemented, 16% partially, while 25% were not implemented at all. The fact that institutions with clean reports have increased was commended by the Auditor General. There is high level of cooperation, and I refrain from assigning any report that we find to include mistakes, sending them back and instructing them to first have them corrected with the assistance of the Ministry of Finance and Economic Planning before they can bring them back again. This is how things were done this year, and we put a lot of effort in that. During the fiscal year that ended June 2023, 2.5 billion Rwandan francs were found to have been paid without following regulations, while the government was found to have lost 6.92 billion Rwandan francs because of bad contracts, poor follow-up of projects and carelessness when paying dates, though it was noted that the funds can still be recovered if procedures are properly followed. Of the 10.05 billion Rwandan francs the government lost in 2022, 1.22 billion was recovered. Between 2013 and 2022, as much as 2.36 billion Rwandan francs in transactions was found to be fraudulent. The parliamentarians acknowledged that progress is being made in the management of public funds, even though problems are still evident. The report was received by both chambers in the Parliament and will now be passed to the Public Accounts Committee for examination, and officials from institutions found to have performed poorly will be summoned. To agriculture matters, the National Agriculture Export Development Board has revealed that since 2017, the export of flowers, vegetables and fruits boosted to 1,000 tons per month, up from 40.
Bella Flowers, a company that has invested in the production and export of fresh-cut roses since 2016. The operational area has currently reached 53 hectares from 20 hectares.
Wicaye mu gihugu rero utagiye muri ayo ma event manini nk'ama trade ubura makuru.
Sitting and not participating in these international exhibitions, you lack information, and no information means no market. So these exhibitions help us in connecting with other traders and knowing market trends, because sometimes what you produce might not meet what the market want, hence the necessity of having information.
So ibyo bintu rero bituma iyo ugiye ubona makuru.
Ramadan Abdul has also been exporting vegetables and fruits for the past 2 years. He emphasizes that according to the needs of the international market, it requires Rwandan farmers to put effort into increasing the production of agricultural products that are exported. We currently export in the United Arab Emirates, Qatar, UK, and Saudi Arabia. Participating in exhibitions facilitates you in introducing Rwandan products to the international market. For instance, in Qatar, no Rwandan company had ever made the move. Cultivators are to target international markets, and for the youth, they are to be entrepreneurs. The National Agricultural Export Development Board statistics demonstrated in the 2021-2022 financial year, the vegetables and fruits exported were worth $36 million. In 2022-2023 financial year, vegetables and fruits exported were worth $56 million, and from July 2023 to February 2024, vegetables and fruits worth $46 million have been exported. From 2017 to present, vegetables, flowers and fruits exports have increased from 40 tons to 1,000 tons per month. Janet Basima, the Director General of Corporate Services at the National Agricultural Export Development Board, emphasizes that exporters of these products are gradually increasing.
Hari naho tujya ugasanga muri ayo mamurikagurisha mpuzamahanga umukiriya akavuga ati ndashaka toni 100 mu cyumweru.
There are instances where we go in these exhibitions and someone says that they want 100 tons in a week and we cannot afford it. This is something we are working on, starting with the logistics. For instance, for avocados, we started using boats for exportation. We tried in Dubai and Europe. If anyone could ask for 5 containers a week, we can afford that.
Kuvuga ngo twakoze igerageza. So ubu n'wadusaba katubwira ati ndashaka container 5 buri cyumweru bishobora gukorwa.
From September last year to March 2024, an international horticultural exhibition was held in Doha, Qatar, and was participated in by about 50 companies from Rwanda. According to the National Agricultural Export Development Board, this is also another major advantage of the expansion of the target market, receiving the production of agricultural products exported to the international market. Prince Manzi, RwandaTV News.
Thank you, Prince. In the southern province of Rwanda, a group of college and university students have determined to help in the fight against genocide denial. They also committed to fighting anything that could disrupt unity among Rwandans. They met the commitment after being trained on the Rwanda program.
A group of youth from different colleges and universities across the southern province in Rwanda are actively involved in contributing to the Rwanda program, which translates I am a Rwandan. They have acknowledged that previously they lacked a deep understanding of the principles underpinning the Rwanda program. However, following a training on this program in partnership with the Unity Club in Rumuri, they are determined to combat anything that undermines the unity of Rwandans. We learned that this program serves as a backbone to provide us with a guideline for the unity of Rwandans. Therefore, we were given the task of teaching those we left in the schools where we come from and teach other students in primary and secondary schools about the history of our country so that they also understand that the unity of Rwandans should be preserved. We gained a profound understanding of our country's history, particularly the unity among Rwandan people. We discovered how they were once united before colonization, but after being colonized, they became divided, laying the groundwork for the genocide against the Tutsis in 1984. As young people, we are going to sensibilize many others across various institutions and teach them about our country's history, especially that we are still seeing on social media different people denying the history of the genocide. Therefore, it's up to us to fight against them. Honorable Odette Miramirimo, a member of the Executive Committee of Unity Club in Rumuri, emphasizes the importance of investing efforts into training the youth through the Rwanda program. She stressed that such initiatives play an important role in shaping the future of Rwanda, envisioning a nation free from divisions. Nyiramirimo underscores the significance of involving the youth, recognizing them as the backbone and strength of the country. It's crucial to teach our young generation the history of our country, because without knowing where we are coming from, they won't understand where we are heading. They are the backbone of our country, so it's important for them to learn about our past to help maintain the peace we have today and ensure it continues into the future. Nikuze Donatien, representing the Ministry of Rwandan Unity and Civic Responsibility, testified that the youth eagerness to learn about the country's history offers hope. He believes that their interest will empower them to disseminate the message and uphold the values of Ndi Umunyarwanda program. Today, our youth show a keen interest in learning about their country's history. They want to understand how Rwanda's unity was destroyed and are eager to find ways to rebuild it. Therefore, it's crucial for them to grasp the root causes of the genocide so they can effectively combat anything that threatens Rwandan unity. This training marks the fourth phase of Ndi Umunyarwanda program, which is designed to enhance the understanding and capabilities of individuals within the forums of unity and integrity, empowering them to disseminate their knowledge among their peers. In the southern province, a total of 88 participants representing colleges and universities from the region have convened. The program aims to extend its reach to 32 colleges and universities across Rwanda in the near future. Charlene Furaha, RTV News.
Thank you, Charlene. Moving ahead, the youth who were born after the 1994 genocide against the Tutsi say lack of knowledge on the history of Rwanda is a major obstacle in the fight against those who spread hatred and genocidal ideologies, mostly through social media. It has been 30 years of Rwanda's rebuilding from the devastating 1994 genocide against the Tutsi. Some of the young people, many of whom were born after the tragedy, admit that they lack sufficient knowledge about the country's history. I find it hard to understand how it was possible for a person to kill a neighbor. They share the country. When we, as the youth, see people who deny the genocide against the Tutsi, sometimes we tend to keep quiet because we don't know much. But when we learn and know about the history, we are able to counter them. Various studies have shown that genocidal ideology is still prevalent among the young people, including those who were born after 1994, hence a major obstacle to unity and reconciliation. Young people are bothered by the multiple sources in regards to the history of the country and the genocide against the Tutsi. Sometimes what they learn at school is different from what they are told by their parents at home, which causes confusion, considering what they get from social media today, some of which is completely controversial. That's how some of them end up developing genocidal ideologies. In an effort to help young people understand the country's history, Rwanda We Want organization, in partnership with International Alert, organized 2 days of discussions titled Rwanda Reflect, where young people from different parts of the country are given lectures on how the genocide against the Tutsi was prepared and executed. Those that participated are young people born after the genocide against the Tutsi. They need to know and understand our bitter history, right from before and during the colonial period, before and during the genocide against the Tutsi, how it was prepared and executed. This will help them to fight the genocide now and in the future. Participants say they have learned a lot. We have young people that intentionally refuse to attend the national itorero, but now that we know that this is where national values are taught, we will be encouraging our fellows to attend.
turebeye mu bindi bihugu duturanye usanga amoko yabo abafite.
In our neighboring countries, different tribes have different land, languages and cultures. For us, we have the same language and culture, only that colonialists managed to divide us. I am determined to use my social media platforms to spread good things about my country and correcting those that have been misled.
The
2022 census indicated that 65.3% of the country's population are young people under the age of 30 years. If they are not taught about the history of the genocide against the Tutsi, the future of the country could be in jeopardy. More than 1,800 members of the private sector federation have met at the genocide memorial site of Kicukiro and Nyanza to remember their comrades who were killed during the 1994 genocide against the Tutsi. Despite the important role of the business community plays in any country's development, businessmen and women were targeted and killed. The commemoration event therefore focused not only on the terrible experiences the slain members of the community endured, but also how far the country has been able to come in terms of developing since the end of the genocide that saw the country liberated. The businessmen and women who participated in the event commended the fact that the corrupt policies of before the country no longer exists and vowed to ensure Rwanda continues to develop for the benefits of Rwandans without discrimination. The chairperson of the private sector federation called on members of the federation never to forget the lessons that the history of Rwanda teaches. The genocide memorial site of Nyanza Kicukiro is the final resting place of more than 105,000 people who were killed during the genocide against the Tutsi. The ceremony was preceded by a walk to remember. Moving ahead to other matters, during the 1994 genocide against the Tutsi here in Rwanda, Mohamud Nordin Tabin of Uganda, who had a fishing business operating in Lake Victoria, decided to halt all activities and first pull out bodies that floated into the lake and give them a decent burial. He says that he never thought anyone would ever thank him for that, but it is what happened.
Lake Victoria is Africa's largest lake by area, the world's largest tropical lake, and the world's second largest freshwater lake by surface area. So to say that the task Mohamud Nordin Tabani gave himself and his fishermen to retrieve the bodies of the victims of the 1994 genocide against the Tutsi that had been washed into the lake by the Nyabarongo River was difficult would be an understatement. But he committed himself to it nevertheless, stopping all regular fishing activities and promising to pay as much as $20 of that time, about $40 in today's money, or close to 52,000 Rwandan francs per body retrieved.
To retrieve a person who has died somewhere and give him a burial, it is a great thing. In every religion I have studied, it's not one religion I'm talking about, every religion I've talked about. If you give somebody a burial, it is a big thing. This came with somebody's prayers, it's not our intelligence, honestly, the chance we got. I just don't know how it came about, because
a few months after what used to be the Rwanda Patriotic Army halted the genocide against the Tutsi and liberated Rwanda, Mohamud got a visit he did not expect.
A delegation came from Rwanda after some months after the genocide. They went to the graveyard on the day, and I was here. This place exactly here. So they knew I was here, so they came to see me. So they came to give me a message that we have come from Rwanda, and we have decided to take all the victims who are buried here, exhume them, and take them back to Rwanda. So I asked him, why? He said, but no, there is nobody to look after here. I said, but we are here. Why don't you give us a chance? He said, no, you will not be able to do it. I said, please, we are here, we are asking you, and they are buried here. They are lying peacefully, don't disturb them.
The Ugandan businessman of Indian origin was not ignorant of what had been happening in Rwanda before the country was liberated, or the efforts of those who sacrificed everything to make it possible.
Major General Rojema, my personal friend, he was staying in Kalolo. We were just about 2 houses apart. So in the evening he used to come, we used to sit, and I don't know how he trusted me. So he started telling me the whole history and everything about how they are going to sort of fight here because of this problem, challenge and everything. So we became so close. And his wife also, I knew her very well. So that's the friendship we started from. But I used to know everything, how the fight went. You see, like Major Kaka, Major Bunyenyezi, how they were killed, what happened, I know the whole history.
In the end, Mohamud Nurdin Tabani ended up helping to give a decent burial to more than 10,000 victims of the 1994 genocide against the Tutsi at the Lambu, Kansensero and Ngolo genocide memorial sites, all of which he maintains to this day. In October last year, he and 6 others were awarded the Umurinzi W'igihango Medal, which was later presented to him by Rwanda's High Commissioner to Uganda.
Now, what I would tell to the First Lady, I don't know how she decided, how she thought that I deserve it. That's the question. Because I have not had a chance of meeting her. I was looking forward to, but President Kagame, I met him one time when I was for the memorial. I just met him for a few minutes, and that's how it was the end of it. So I don't know how she came to know, how she appreciated it, and how she decided to honor.
Mohamud is also very happy about the way Rwanda has been developing over the last 30 years.
Look at the country and how it has progressed. So somebody has got 2 eyes, you can see with 1 eye the progress, the unity, the achievements, the education, the agriculture, the other kind of development. I mean, you can't compare it. The strictness on the roads, the traffics, the construction which is going on, the spacing, the unity there which has been created now, it is excellent. It's the example which our children is going to learn from.
He is, however, not happy about the way some people around the world have continued to negate and incredibly even deny that the 1994 genocide against the Tutsi ever took place.
Those who are going to say no, they will say no. But the reality is on the ground. Those who suffered and those who went through those challenges, they know it, what they went through. Okay, there could be 1 or 2 mistakes here and there, but it doesn't mean that everything was not right. It happened. And people died, and they suffered. Like this what called testimony today. You can see from that one. I don't think the lady, she has made it up. This is a true story. So these are the facts. So what we should be doing, if there's a wrong, who doesn't understand, we should come ourselves together, convince that this is the reality, let them find out for themselves, and get the facts.
Mohamud Nurdin Tabani was born in Uganda in 1945 and in 2018, during commemoration events, donated 50 bicycles to genocide survivors at Rukumberi in Goma district of Rwanda's eastern province.
And moving ahead, still on Kwibuka 30, in the past 30 years, the Ministry of Infrastructure has witnessed a significant transformation in the reconstruction process within the infrastructure sector. This was part of the discussions during the 30th commemoration of the former Electrogas employees who lost their lives during the 1994 genocide against the Tutsi. Adam Squizera reports.
The commemoration ceremony commenced at the headquarters of Rwanda Energy Group REG, paying tribute to employees who were killed during genocide against Tutsi. Participants gathered to lay wreaths at the monument adorned with the names of the former Electrogas employees. Some of the former employees of the former Electrogas shows the persecution they were subjected to by some of their leaders who were there at that time. I was arrested after being alleged that I were poisoned with the treatment of Chimisagara. But all that was the hatred which was spread by our colleagues. The CEO of REG, Almazingiro, explains that commemorating former Electrogas workers is also time to reflect and learn history.
Cyahoze ari Electrogas uyu munsi cyavuyemo ibigo bibiri
aribyo REG na WASAC.
The former electric gas currently produced 2 institutions, which are REG and WASAC, whereas its former workers were killed during genocide against Tutsi, and as well as this electric gas also contributed much during those atrocities by offering its vehicles to the killers. So that's why today we are commemorating for the 30th those employees who were killed during genocide against Tutsi.
Tufite abakozi dukorana biciwe icyo gihe biciwe uyu munsi turabibuka ku inshuro ya 30.
The Minister of State in the Ministry of Infrastructure, Uwase Patrici, noted that in the last 30 years there have been significant transformation in the rebuilding processes within the infrastructure sector.
Rwanda rwariyubatse aho abayobozi b'icyo gihe bafashe igihe kinini mu kwigisha urwango.
Rwanda developed significantly, which is different to what leaders by then did, which led to genocide against Tutsi. But now we are focused to rebuild our nation where every Rwandan has access to water and electricity. In the last 30 years, we achieved much, but we also have many things to do, hence to develop our country, Rwanda. In this 30th commemoration of the genocide against Tutsi, there was also a walk to remember that was dedicated to reflect on the employees of the former electric gas that were killed during genocide against Tutsi in 1994.
And that's all from us here at RB's Rwanda Television News. On behalf of the entire news production as well as the technical team that made it happen, many thanks for being with us. And up until next time, stay safe and we wish you a great evening.